Yesterday I learned good morning, and then I had to ask my friend Tiago how to say good afternoon, so boa tarde. Thanks for having me for day 2. I hope you guys had a great day 1. Today we're talking about the digital future of the customer lifecycle, and I lead our demand gen team at marketing, and this is really something that we think about a lot. As a company, we're thinking about the full customer experience that all of our customers are having, both our customers and then the experiences that the customers of our customers are having for you guys. And how do we help our customers create experiences for them? And my goal today is to give you some ideas on how you can partner with marketing, or you as marketers can partner with other departments and leverage your tools and your skill sets to create some new things to support the customer across their entire life cycle. So this is really about the need for a centralized customer view and a centralized dashboard, and what are the things that you can really do with it. And that's really going to differ depending on your business model and your industry. So, if you're in financial services or you're at a bank, it's really going to look different than, say, a retail business, or for us as a software company. We're coming from that perspective, a B2B software company. And so the examples that I'm going to show you are really from what we're thinking about and what we're seeing. So you guys will need to think about, okay, what really makes sense for you in your context. So for today, having all of this customer information in one place. And you've heard a lot about customer experience and digital transformation yesterday and today. And when we think about the brands that we love and that we all know, we think about the ones that give us great customer experiences. And a lot of that has to do with great service. And they do that because they're focusing first and foremost on the customer. And when we talk about the digital experiences that we're all trying to move towards, more and more, that is really going to be the key differentiator for you and for your customers. And I think that this process of digital transformation is really going to be guided by that full customer view and that dashboard that you guys can put together for yourselves and for other departments at your company. And you'll notice that one thing that I'm not saying here is that it's a marketing-centric strategy, even though I'm from marketing, or even a customer service-centric strategy. Really, it's spreading across the whole organization, and it needs to permeate across the entire enterprise. So recently, a company called eConsultancy, they did a survey for marketing and IT professionals, and they asked what characteristics are most important in establishing a truly digitally native culture. And CustomerCentricity came out on top with 58%. Second was being data-driven. And then innovation, collaboration, and agility came out third with about 28%. And that's really not to discredit those last three in any way. Having an efficient business is really important, and I think those last three kind of encompass that. But they serve the goal of being customer-centric, of taking care of your customers. And the data-driven part, which came in second, is really important because in order to have that customer-centric goal and that whole view, you really need to have that data, and you need that information to support the decision-making processes that you guys have. So this is my silo slide that you probably see a lot when you're talking about digital transformation and full customer lifecycle, single customer view. And when I say siloed, I really mean different departments or divisions that are focusing on specific areas. So, your marketing team, they're going to have their own KPIs that are different from, say, your sales team or your customer support team. Customer experience, engineering. And they're each going to develop their own reports, and they probably are developing their own reports that they're using in their day-to-day decision-making. And most of the time, these silos, they weren't created intentionally at all. They're really just a product of how much our companies are growing and the success that we're having. And in that success, we kind of find ourselves in these silos. especially with specialization. So as a marketer, your day-to-day focus is lead generation. How do I create these prospects, and how do I get them to convert on a form or on my website at an event? And then we're sending them over to sales, and sales is going, okay, well, I've got these leads and I need to turn them into opportunities. So I'm talking to them, I'm figuring out how to understand what they're going through, and then once they turn into a customer, our support team, they're saying, okay, let me look at how many tickets are they creating. As a support team, are we closing out tickets at a rapid rate? Is the satisfaction of those ticket closures, is that good with our customers? And while these can be departmental barriers, oftentimes it's information silos as well. So there's no shortage of data. Each department, they're generating lots and lots of data about prospects and customers, but oftentimes, they're in these disparate data systems or servers and databases, and they don't really talk to each other, and there's not really a way to connect them really easily. And that's really the traditional approach to customer lifecycle management. Each department, as long as they're focused on what they're doing, then our customers should have a really good experience. But when you talk about digital transformation and how you want to change that, you really need to involve the entire organization and really think about it from not just your department, but other departments as well. So let's talk about that traditional customer journey. So I talked about this yesterday in my talk, and the path that your customer will take from prospect all the way through. And it's something that most of us are familiar with. Marketing, we're looking at reach and acquisition, and then sales is that conversion piece. And then all the way at the end, that's our customer experience team and our community, and they're looking at loyalty and advocacy. Who's talking about us, and who's having a good experience with us, and who's coming back. And so I've been in marketing almost 10 years, and in those 10 years, I've really found we tend to stay on our side. While we will venture over into sales, and is that opportunity converting into a sale, we're really, really focused on, am I creating those leads, and how is that going? And unfortunately, this can lead to unrealized business opportunities for us. These blind transitions, they mean that we don't see what's happening once we're handing them over. We have this idea that, oh, now sales is going to take these leads and they're going to convert them. But that may not always be the case, or sales might be like, well, what's going on? Why am I getting these leads? And so forth. And there's not much insight into what's happened before and what's happened after. Oops. So when we're planning out our full customer lifecycle dashboard, it's no longer that departmental view. It really has to look at all the departments. And that's what I think the dashboard of the future really is. And actually the dashboard of today, what we really want to be doing right now. It's not just marketing or IT putting together this really pretty looking dashboard, but it's about the data that goes into it, where you're getting it from, and how are you connecting it. And making sure that the first step to that is looking at it from a really customer-centric point of view, regardless of what department you're in within your organization, and figuring out where those changes can happen. And then this dashboard will then in turn give you visibility into the whole life cycle of your customer. And when you think about it that way, for your customer, they're going to see the same thing. They won't know all these things that you're doing, but they're going to realize, like, oh, this is actually a really good experience for me. I'm really enjoying working with this company. So for my department, marketing, we're really focused on analytics. We have an ops team who's really great, and they're always talking about, what are the number of people coming to our website, and what's the bounce rate, what's our churn rate. And those are things that they look at every day and that they're concerned with. But if you think about it, those are all things that other people at our company and other departments should be concerned with as well. And they would want access to that information too. It can help make their lives easier, and it can also help inform projects that they're working on. So what can be done? I'm going to talk through a few examples, some ideas that our team is kind of playing around with that we're doing right now. things that Mark and Jason, my ops team, they're really excited about. And at Liferay, we're figuring out how we in marketing can go beyond just our department, our normal boundaries, and where we tend to stop, which is that sale point. So one of the first things that we can do when we're trying to create this full customer lifecycle database and then bring that data together visually is to try and see the complete picture. And you want to have this information all in one place. You want to make sure you're seeing things from the customer's point of view so that when one of our employees is talking to a customer, they immediately know what's going on with them. They can always figure out what the last interaction was, whether that was something that marketing had done or sales had done, or maybe even one of our customer experience managers. You can see what tickets did they create. Right now we have a ticketing program called Lisa, and historically all of that ticket information has lived in Lisa. And so in order to see that, you'd have to go there and then see the information on that ticket, and then you can have a conversation. But what we want to do is make sure that no matter where or who we are, if it's us in marketing or if it's sales, they can go to one place and they don't have to be going to all of these different systems to try and see what the customer has done in the past. And then for the customer, hopefully for our customers, it's not a frustrating experience, because for them, they're not having 3 different conversations if they talk to 3 different people in 1 week. For them, it's just one conversation. And so if our 3 employees, say one's in sales and one's customer experience and one's support, with these 3 conversations, it really does become one continuous one. So there's an opportunity for our marketing team to take that one step and go over the wall. You normally will say, hey, here's the lead, and we'll throw it over, and then sales like, thanks. But now we're trying to help facilitate these customer experiences, making sure we're moving and we're looking at retention, loyalty, as well as advocacy. So if we start with improving customer retention and loyalty, we're looking at some specific metrics that we think are good. They're okay. What do we want to be measuring? So churn and renewals, are they renewing their subscription with us? Is it a multi-year renewal? Are they going 2-3 years? And then actually what happens from that 3rd to that 4th year? Do they renew again? Or maybe they're a single year, just 1 year term customer. Are they renewing at that 2nd year? Another one would be loyal customer rate. So say we have 50 customers who are purchasing multiple things, and if we divide that by 100 unique customers, we have a loyal customer rate of 50%. And if you map that out over time, you can really get a sense of how your loyal customer rate is trending. And these metrics, they're okay, they're good. They give you a sense of how you're doing right now, but they don't really tell you how to fix things. And so I think there are better metrics, things that can really help you diagnose problems and improve and try and be preventative for future problems. So some of those better ones, we're looking at % of customers who are onboarded. We've talked to our customer experience and our support teams, and we found out that with a brand new customer, if they're not engaged, if they don't start their project within the first 90 days of purchasing a subscription from us, they're most likely not going to renew at that 1-year date. And that's a huge statistic for us. So what we're going to look at is we're going to see how many of our brand new customers are being onboarded. Are they going through our onboarding program? Are they starting their projects within those first 90 days? We want to make sure that all of our customers are getting onboarded. And so for marketing, even though that's not something that we traditionally would think a lot about, one thing that we can do to help our CX team and our customer support team is say, okay, is there content out there that you guys are sending or that you always talk to the customers about that we can actually create a nurture campaign for that says, okay, if this customer is not started within the first 90 days, well, let's send this out to them. Let's help engage them and get them to talk back to us and find out what's going on. Is there a barrier that you hit a wall against that you need some help on? Another one is the percent of customers trained. So we want to look at, how many of them are accessing training, how many of them are looking at training and asking their support team or their CXM about training. And you would think that that opening tickets is a bad thing. We don't want our customers to be opening lots of tickets, but actually we found that if there's low ticket count or no ticket count, that actually means that our customers, they're not engaged with the product. They may have dropped their project, or they're trying to do things on their own, and they may have hit a wall. And so one thing that we're trying to do is we're looking at how many tickets are our customers creating. And while we don't want it to be this astronomical number, because that's not good either, we want to know that they're asking questions and they're trying to figure out how to use Liferay for their specific project and what they need. And so we're looking at the number of tickets that our new customers are creating. So if you had those metrics that I talked about on the right hand of the slide available in a cross-department shared dashboard, the single customer dashboard, what could you really do with it? And all of this helps to contribute to better customer care for us. Retention can seem like a really selfish company goal, but actually, it's a lot cheaper for us to keep existing customers. And for the customer themselves, it's a lot cheaper to stay with one product and one company because, if they're going to churn that product and they're trying to rip and replace it, they've got to go through that verification process with the new company and the new product, and how am I going to move all of my information over? Okay, so for the sales team, we're asking, did that account just spend 9 months to get onboarded and trained properly? How long did it take them? How can we decrease that time for them to get onboarded? If they're engaged with our product, they'll get more value out of it. And for support, I skipped one. There we go. For onboarding and training, ensuring 100% of new customers have been onboarded and that they have access to training. For marketing, are we sending out content that's talking about training and that's letting them know what are the new training classes that are available? What are the things that they haven't taken? Or maybe they've got one engineer, one developer who's taken training A, and did they actually know that training B is available, and helping them to find those different resources as they're creating their projects. For support, one thing if they're looking at the previous things that the interactions that our customers had with sales and onboarding and training, they want to know, okay, well, what can I help share with that customer? How can I make sure that the accounts are getting engaged? These are very B2B-centric examples, they're for us, but the same concepts can really apply in consumer products as well. For example, looking at purchasing trends, are your customers going to another competitor if they stopped buying, whatever it is that you sell? Maybe this is a great opportunity for a nurture campaign to reach out and try and keep yourself top of mind with them. So really with retention, it's about getting them what they want or what they need when they want and when they need it. If you're a customer and you're trying to solve a specific problem that most people or a lot of people might run into when they're starting their implementation, we have a specific training or we have a piece of collateral that addresses that problem. We want to try and get that in front of them as marketers. It's very easy for us to create a campaign around that or a nurture trail. And if we're stepping in and we're saying, okay, training, sales, support, how can we help you guys get this information in front of our customers faster and more efficiently, and especially to the right customer. You don't want to just do a batch and blast. You really want to be able to personalize, segment, and identify what's going to make the most sense. And being able to connect all of these data points across all of the departments is really going to help you establish that and figure out how to do that. As we take it beyond, training and we're looking at ticket creation with support, we're trying to ask, how much time has elapsed for that customer between tickets? Is there a way that we can send an automated follow-up from their account manager to ask, how's your project going? Last time we talked, it was this thing. How is that? Have you been able to resolve that? And for us, we still have some customers who are on 6.1. We've come out with 6.2, and now we have DXP. And really, we want to make sure that those customers are going to stay loyal. One, because it's good for us, but then also we've found that it's really good for our customers as well because, like I said before, if they need to rip and replace, that's going to be a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money. And especially if they're in the department that is having to do that, that's a lot of stress for them. So making sure that our customers, our existing customers, know, what new features we have, what new has come out, what's available to them that might be able to help them in the upgrade or in the migration process. 6.2 and now DXP. That can help it make it a lot less daunting for them when they're thinking about that upgrade or that migration. So moving on, we talked about retention, loyalty, and now customer advocacy. So what are some things that we would measure? We're looking at, number of new case studies per year. How many are we generating as a company? We're looking at how many new logos we have per year. Are we able to get new logos up on our website, into our slide decks, talking about them at events? And lastly, the number of new references that we have. Who can we talk about and who can be a reference for us? And while these are all really good, they're kind of more on the vanity or high level. So some of the better ones that we think would be good to look at, and that we're trying to start to do, would be like social media sentiment. So this is, what are our customers saying about us? How do they feel about us? Is it positive or is it negative? What do they like to talk about? And this is kind of going outside of, our website and looking on these third-party sites, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and trying to figure out what that sentiment is for Liferay. The second one would be an advocate index score. So this is saying, are our good accounts advocating for us? Do we even know if they are? With an advocate index score, we can actually figure that out. So we're basing this off of activity that accounts do with us. So are they speaking at our events? Are they coming to symposiums and giving presentations on their case studies? Are they participating in case studies? Are they giving us permission for their logos? Can they be a referenceable customer for us? And we're going to take all of that information, we're going to give it a weighted score, and then have a threshold. And all the customers that fall above that threshold, they're going to be our good advocates. And the ones that fall below that threshold, those are the ones that we can go back to and say, okay, what's going on? Why don't they have a score that falls above the threshold? And it's an opportunity for us to then engage with them and say, how can we help improve this relationship with us and your experience with us? And this becomes much easier once you've got that single database that you can pull from and that you can create that single customer view with. Without it, it's this crazy exercise of record linkage and identifying accounts within all of these different systems, and it just becomes kind of a mess of a project for our ops team. So we really wanted to create that one database. So if you had these metrics available on a cross-departmental shared dashboard, what could you really do with it? So, if you're a sales rep, you're probably hearing from marketing, can I get a case study out of this? What success stories do we have? Who can speak at our events? As marketers, we're always talking to our sales reps about that. And with easy access to an advocate index, you know which ones are successful. You know exactly which accounts you can talk to and you can reach out to as a sales rep. You don't have to go digging through your CRM instance to try and figure out which of my accounts in the past year would be a good one to talk to. They already know because they have access to data from CXM, from support, which accounts are doing well and which ones they can reach out to ask for that customer case study for marketing to then use in their collateral. So during onboarding, you can connect your advocate community with your customer community. This is a great opportunity to create networking between these two groups, both online or in person. Online events, in-person events. We might create an advocate event for those customers. And we really want to try and create this fast track for them so that our new customers are able to learn from our existing community and really helps them in that way. So all of this really contributes to better customer care. And then lastly, with support, like I said, if you're looking at who's scoring high on the index score, you can do things like create a rewards program, and so as they're creating these tickets, all of that's going into that database, all of that's going into that index, and then you can start to reward our customers, as they kind of move along on that advocacy scale. And then for us in marketing, if we're trying to think beyond what we're traditionally doing, we're saying, okay, let's help with renewal campaigns. With those requests for those case studies and those logos, those references. How can we help our support team and our CX team advocate and empower those loyal customers with those speaking engagements at symposium or at roadshow events? And then lastly, how can Liferay help? So one of the really cool things that I get to see since I'm at Liferay is just how we're using our own product to really achieve this one database, this one customer view. Right now we're building a single customer database, a data warehouse. Using Liferay, we're integrating it with our CRM. We have a marketing automation system that we're using. We're pulling that in. We've also created some custom systems like our ticketing system, Lisa. And so we're using that information. We're pulling that all in through Liferay. And we're creating this data warehouse that we can then create this single customer lifecycle dashboard from. And so that's kind of where the point that we're at right now, and we're really, really excited about this. We're hoping to use Liferay as this single system of record with our user profiles, and especially, if you guys are using Sync, you can pull in all that data from your mobile apps and put that into there as well. So these last two slides I have, and then we all get to go to lunch, so I promise I'm almost finished. They're hard to read. It's really small, so it's not meant to be for you right now, but after this, we're going to have all of our slides up on the recap site for Symposium, and so go ahead and download it. This goes through all of the metrics for each of the journey stages. What we talked about are good to have, but what we also think are the better ones to follow, as well as the questions to ask, where are we looking to find out what might, be going wrong? What might we be able to improve on? So this one would be that new territory for marketers. I'm a marketer, so this is where we're thinking. If you're in a different department, you're going to want to think, okay, well, what can I do that's outside of my department? What can I look at to help facilitate, that next step for the full customer lifecycle view and establishing that one central repository. So Peter Drucker, he is an expert in marketing, and he said, the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him and sells itself. I really think this sums up what the centralization of data is all about for us. And it doesn't just apply to marketing, even though this is a quote about marketing. We all need to be focused on the customer, and we need to be talking to other departments. Don't wait for your executive team to do a top-down approach. Really advocate for your department, for your other departments within your company, and saying, hey, let's figure out how we can do this so that we can make better experiences for our customers and make sure that for our employees as well, that they're having that full view, no matter what project they're working on or what department they're in. Obrigada.
Thanks, Michelle. Questions?